sana. Makofi tafadhali kwa Sharon DJ. Thank you so much. Tunashukuru. Naomba nirudishe kipasa sauti kwa Deputy County Commissioner. Tutawaita.
Asante sana. Wananchi bado wako na hamu ya kusikiza ule wimbo wa KISII Primary. I hope mitambo sasa iko sawa. Very good. Asante. Karibu.
Wakenya wote tuko hapa. Tuko hapa kusherehekea. Tulipopata uhuru. Tuko hapa kusherehekea. Simba wetu yuko hapa. Yuko hapa kusherehekea. Honda wetu yuko hapa. Yuko hapa kusherehekea. Komishona yuko hapa. Yuko hapa kusherehekea. Kaunti nzima wako hapa. Wako hapa kusherehekea.
Asante sana kwa hiyo nafasi. Ningetaka sasa kumkaribisha Mheshimiwa Deputy Governor ili aweze kuongea na umati huu na baadaye amwalike Governor kutoa hotuba yake. Tafadhali my colleagues MCs mumpatie sauti upande huo ili asante sana. Karibu Mheshimiwa Deputy Governor.
Your Excellency, the Governor of KISII, Honorable Simba Arati, the Senator of KISII, Honorable Richard Momoima, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nyaribari Chache, Honorable Sairi Chanda, the County Commissioner of KISII, with the entire Security Committee, the Honorable Members of the County Assembly led by the Honorable Speaker, all together. Your Excellency, I want to point out that as we celebrate the leaders, the heroes of the past days, allow me to recognize you and the entire leadership of this county as the current heroes of this day. We want to follow the footsteps of our fallen leaders, the leaders who have been there before, in fighting for our people. Your Excellency, you are in record in advising our people in the KISII County that we go back to our farming activities that really enable us to grow in the days past. Your Excellency, you have asked our farmers to do our coffee, and you have indicated your capacity to access markets abroad. We want to invite our people in this Heroes Day that you please do the coffee farming as we did in the past days. Secondly, Your Excellency, you have asked our people to go back, especially in the Baretram farming regions of this county, that we go back to kilimo cha maua. The prices of Baretram currently are very good and attractive. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba, Your Excellency, you have asked me, and I was in this ending week in Nyaribari Masaba and the regions in the upper part of the county that grew Baretram, that I was there to ask the farmers to start Baretram farming. And we shall make heroes out of the coffee, Baretram farming, and many other crops, including the avocado growing of this region. Your Excellency, I want to, at this point, invite you, Your Excellency, to come and address us at this point. Your Excellency, sir.
Okay, thank you. My deputy, Dr. Robert Monda, the senator, the county commissioner, and members of the security team, speaker of the county assembly, members of the county assembly, members of the executive committee, and the staff of KISII County, our esteemed servicemen and women, religious leaders, and all other sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, before I read my speech, wanted to do a quick recap on what my good friends, Senator Mumaima and the Honorable Zaire Janda said. I want to confirm here today that my brother Zaire Janda, the first meeting we had at inaugural time in this field, Mheshimiwa Janda, nataka nishukuru kwa sababu wewe umekuwa pamoja nasi. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Chanda, nataka nikurudishe shukrani sana kwa sababu kulikuwa na shamba ambao mlikuwa mnapigana na gavana aliyepita kule ATC, ambao ni shamba lako, ambao ulikuwa umepewa na Lands Commission. Lakini kwa kuongea na wewe, Mheshimiwa Janda alipeana shamba hilo liwekwe hospitali ya kansa. Asante sana ndugu yangu. Mambo ya diplomacy ndio mimi nilisomea na ninajua kwamba vile vya kuongea na kila mmoja. Asante kwa kutupea lile shamba. Pili, nataka nitoe shukrani zangu kwa sababu tulikuwa tumeongea na county commissioner kwamba tunahitaji museum yetu hapa. Na in the supplementary budget ambayo tutakuwa nayo, tutaweka fedha za kuanza msimu ile. Nikubalie nisome speech yangu ndiposa nipeane mwelekeo. Wananchi watukufu. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to express my great pleasure today as I join my fellow citizens of our county to commemorate this very important day in our national calendar. Mashujaa Day is a day set aside to recognize and commemorate the great heroes and heroines, gallant men and women, both alive and those who have gone before us, whose sacrifice has contributed immensely to the freedom which we enjoy today. Ladies and gentlemen, first, let me take this opportunity to express my gratitude as I join you in the marking of Mashujaa Day, an important day in our national calendar. KISII County is featured prominently on the Kenya map as one of the regions that have been and continue to be home to national heroes. It is from this region that senior provincial administrators, such as Musa Nyandusi, Angwen Kingoina Gichana, Sakaria Ngwenyi Ooga, Asha Onyego, among others, who in the past served our great nation as senior chiefs, have hailed from. Our political leaders, who among them, Simeon Yachai, George Anyona, Sakari Onyonka, among others, will forever be remembered for their diligent service to our county and the country. I salute them. Ladies and gentlemen, the list of our heroes will not be complete without the mention of Kenyan's international footballer Henry Motigo and the World Athletics Reign 5,000 meters champion Helen Obiri, Yabesi Ondieki, Nyantika Miyoro, among other many others, Julius Wako, Hezron Mokamba, Stanley Kogoro, and all these are the people who have won either silver, gold medals, all of them. Thomas Osano, Jafet Machuka, Oanda Kerochi, Jacqueline Torori, Gilbert Okari, Nancy Mwenga, Eunice Sagero Emba, Peter Munyancha, Joel Onuonga, Charles Obogi, Toch Mochache, Melen Mogaka, Aberi Odenyo, Owen Magori, Firis Ongori, Valentine Orale, Douglas Momanyi, Grace Momanyi, Jane Omoro, Benjamin Orina, John Wako, Sam Nyagincha, Ondoro Osoro, Mary Mora, Irene Mogaka. The liberation story of Otenyo, Yamantere, a brave KISII warrior who held our community wage war against the colonialists, way before the Mau Mau movement decades later, will not as well be forgotten. When a county commissioner, when you guys from Central, you're happy of the Mau Mau, we had our own Otenyo, who went ahead and confronted the colonialists before the Mau Mau was in place. These brave men and women have and continue making our county or country proud. Today, we celebrate our leaders, towns, farmers, teachers, businessmen, our workforce in the civil service, our men and women in uniform, and everyone whose hard work and effort not only feed, clothe, and house families, but also ensure our children access affordable education. Ladies and gentlemen, away from the makers of our nation, our county is still facing challenges our nation has faced since Kenya attained self-rule. Millions of our people are still unable to access affordable health care, education, and safe and clean water, with poverty level at all-time high. In their wisdom, the framers of our Constitution took note of the above challenges. Through this realization, the clamor for a new constitution aimed at bringing service closer to mwananchi kicked in, resulting in the 2010 constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering has been possible by the 2010 constitution, which has enabled it to devolve crucial government functions that now allow our people to engage in a nation building while sharing the national cake. Close to 2 months ago, during our inauguration as the second county administration, we informed the nation we had inherited a rundown county, one built on cronyism and personal connections at the expense of development and service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past month, my administration commissioned an audit on the human resource capacity of our county. The audit revealed glaring gaps that now calls for strengthening our payroll system and a close scrutiny of the county's human resource infrastructure. We cannot continue running a county where cartels are running multiple payments accounts. Staff have different national identity cards that do not match their tax pins. In one case, one ID numbers produced 192 PIN numbers. That shows how our state of resource in the human resource management is. Staff continue drawing salaries without the request qualification, among other shocking findings. Ladies and gentlemen, the cancer of corruption has not only affected the county's human resource department, but has spread its tentacles to the procurement sector of our administration. The county government is facing pending bills running into billions of shillings, with some of the payment questionable and an outright attempt to steal from the taxpayer. My administration has flagged 67 payment claims submitted for payment after discovering they were all ghost roads construction works. To this end, I have instructed the setting up of a pending bill committee to interrogate all pending payment. I wish to assure contractors and the suppliers that those who have engaged in genuine work shall be paid, but for those who have not shall not be paid and must be subjected to the law. Ladies and gentlemen, my administration has commenced internal administrative action to rectify these anomalies, lining with national government directives to all 47 counties that called for strengthening county payroll systems. I've started in the past. This is not a witch hunt, but a deliberate step towards ensuring we have in place an efficient county service. Ladies and gentlemen, we made a convent with our people during our grilling campaign, we assured our people that we will not only keep the covenant, but see to it that the pillars of covenants is anchored on, namely devolution, governance, wealth creation, sustainable environmental conservation, and social development, enablers, and ICT stand. As we settle into office, my administration has made a deliberate effort to align the county integrated development plan to mirror the 5 pillars in our manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, my administration promised to bring order to border sector, and I know there are murmurs about the speed at which this is taking place for our borders operators to realize meaningful dividends from their business. We must restore order, restoring sanity to this sector and weeding out rogue elements hell-bent on tarnishing this sector's good name. We must do it. There are political elements I know inciting borders operators by exploiting their unmet grievances. My administration is keenly paying attention to this act of lawlessness. No effort will be spared in exposing those out to fund chaos and protecting the border sector from selfish political schemes. I did promise, as my brother indicated earlier, indeed, and I want to reiterate what Sagero sang, that borders, and I'll make it possible for our young people engaged in that meaningful business. Ladies and gentlemen, we are keen to leverage on agriculture sector, which is a key driver of our economy, and make it an ultimate means to employment, wealth creation, and food security. Our focus as a government is to build the local economy by encouraging investment in value addition and cash crop farming, making available agricultural subsidies and agricultural extension services, all aimed at improving the quality of our agricultural production. To spur agricultural production, my administration is laying particular emphasis on deriving of industrial cash crop, whose production has taken a hit over decades. Ladies and gentlemen, to revamp the coffee sector, my administration will work closely with the Coffee Society through the Gusii Farmers Coffee Union, aimed at boosting the coffee production. We must, as a county, give attention to agro-processing, branding, and marketing in the coffee sector, once billed as the black gold. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, KISII County in the past been hailed as a leading pyrethrum county, which my deputy mentioned earlier. My administration is determined to have our county back on the Kenya map as a region that produced high quality pyrethrum. Recently, we held very fruitful engagement with the leadership of the pyrethrum processing company of Kenya, PPCK, with a view of relaying farmers in the potential areas of KISII to once again embrace the noble venture. The PPCK promised to give us 120 kgs of seedlings, which we are going to give to ATC to start the nursery for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, the operationalization of banana processing factory, the avocado processing plant at KISII Agricultural Training Center, and the intended setting up of a sugar cane processing plant and a soapstones value addition plant in South Mugrango will go a long way in addressing all our critical agricultural sector within the borders of our county. Ladies and gentlemen, turning on the health sector, it's important for us to get this one clear. Turning on the health sector, my administration will undertake to train and equip all our health facilities to attend to emerging medical challenges facing our people, while at the same time improving quality medical care they receive. This can only be possible if those charged with the responsibility of running our medical facility are made accountable while in line of duty. Ladies and gentlemen, as a first step among many aimed institutional efficiency in service delivery in all health facilities, my government has introduced digitized drug receipt, distribution, and dispensing system to curb the theft of drugs at the medical centers and sub-counties hospitals in the county. The pilot program that has so far registered remarkable success has also forced the closure, this is important, closure of several illegal drug stores in the county. I got information from one of the sub-counties that a number of those chemists, they have been closed down because they could not receive the drugs which they used to receive from the stolen ones from our stores. The supply of stolen drugs to the stores has been curbed by stringent pilot system that is operational. We will stop at nothing until we ensure that drugs meant to help our people reach them and not end up in the hands of corrupt individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, among us is a group of women and men who have traversed the county, tending to the medical needs of our people, unable to access medical facilities due to distance and other emerging challenges. Community health workers, our heroes and heroines, have gone out of their way to attend to urgent critical medical cases. My administration pledged to have this team placed on a stipend and incorporated into our medical care system in the long run. I wish to announce that starting November, the group of brave and selfless heroes and heroines will access a stipend to enable them to discharge their duty efficiently. Ladies and gentlemen, our county faces an immediate and pressing challenge of clean and affordable water supply system. I recently sanctioned the management of the KISII Water and Sanitation Company, WASCO Board of Directors, who are with us here today. I wish to call upon the water management body to urgently exploit and address the acute shortage of water supply by ensuring resumption of water supply to residents of KISII municipality and its environment. Ladies and gentlemen, their challenges in water sector have been characterized by infighting among the members of the Water Management Board. Only last year, the county government of KISII missed out on the 2 billion grant as the members of the Water Management Board, WASCO, fought over party of 91 million of COVID money. These men and women were busy fighting for 91 million. When the grant came in, this money was diverted to a neighboring county. A sad story, but I'm happy that we have restored order in Wasco to deliver. We are weighing, I know, we have around 120 million, which money if we don't utilize by the end of the month will go back to the fund. I've spoken to my counterpart in Nyamira. We have agreed. As long as you come up with the proper budget of the spending of 120 million, we will release those monies before the end of the month so that our people, they are connected to water. I'm happy to report that the wars have ended and the Water Management Board has gotten down to business. I wish to call upon the residents of KISII County to take advantage of water connection program to be rolled out in November to apply for water connections services as we rush to have more people connected to the piped water supply. Ladies and gentlemen, my government will undertake, among other interventions, the construction of an additional of 35 kilometers distribution piped water. Additional areas of Suneka, Nyamataro, Matongo, and Kiogoro. The residents of Iyabe, Nyaguta, Nyabioto, Motonto, Kerina, Mogumo, Igonga, Gesonso, Mosocho, Jogo, Mwembe, Nyakoe, Egesa, Minyinkwa, and Bubaracho are also said to benefit from this project. My administration pledged to not only to improve our overall education standards as county, but also to ensure the quality of education we offer our children meets the demands of the job market. In this report, my administration has rolled out bursary program for needy students, but bright in all our wards. The kitty of 3 million per ward will see the numbers of families seeking education funding a break from the past. My administration will work closely with the elected leaders of the county assembly, county education administrators, and the residents who will now sit in the education committee to ensure a fair distribution of the resources. In my supplementary submission to the assembly, I intend to bring up this sharing of 3 million for every ward, members of the county assembly, so that this money can help our people. And please, we help them. Leave the roads to me, I'll do them. For the bursary, you guys, you must help me to sort out, because there are many children at home who are not going to school. Ladies and gentlemen, turning the pressing issue of street urchins that continue to be of concern of my administration, my government will embark on a rehabilitation program for the street families by first renovating rehabilitation centers domicile in the county before relocating the family there. Rehabilitation efforts will include training the street families and equipping them with skills and tools to enable them to engage in a meaningful income-generating business venture. Ladies and gentlemen, waste management and a functioning sewer system remains one of our biggest challenges as a county. The relocation of the ongoing Nyambera dam site is one of the many steps to address the thorny waste management issue. In the next 2 months, my administration will transform the Nyambera dam site into a recreational park as our county moves towards creating more recreational spaces for our people. That's the only way we can attain the status of a city. If we must open all roads which have been encroached, all spaces which have been grabbed, we'll reclaim them for us to start looking into forward many other steps that we'll make. We cannot address the matter of water and sanitation without addressing the water towers. Our forest cover continue to play a significant role in the water ecosystem and must be protected. My administration is alarmed by encroachment cases in our forest and riparian land. To protect these natural resources, my administration wishes to ask those who have encroached on the spaces or their forest land to vacate and allow its restoration. This is non-negotiable. We shall seek to involve community around the forest land and environmental protection and conservation. In conclusion, the task ahead of us of turning around the economic fortunes of our people is not only enormous but challenging. Paramount is the support from our development partners, national government, and other key stakeholders. My administration will rely on to you actualize our service delivery and development agenda. As my administration aims at finishing the construction works in this stadium by setting aside that 6 million for the completion, I wish to inform the general public that my administration is willing to work closely with the national government and all other county government for our county to realize the Kenyan dream. Back to this field, I want to tell you, the people who are working in this field, people who are working on this track, they had accelerated the measurement of this track from 5,000 to 7,000. Until the other day when I asked the people who are helping, they did measurement for this field, this track. They found it is 5,000 square running meters, not 7,000. And I've asked the QS to revise because they wanted to eat from the 2,000 extra square meters they had added. The field, it had been projected to take 100 million. But out of the constructions and the constructions of their documents, we have found that it will take only 36 million on the remaining retainer wall. In the supplementary, members of the County Assembly will submit also those estimates for us to get that 6 million to finish resetting the stadium. Our people have benefited from the vote they casted in the ballot box. Allow me to say this in Swahili as I'm coming to the end. Ndugu watukufu, wananchi watukufu, nataka nirudie kwa Kiswahili dakika moja peke yake. Mimi kama gavana wenu nitafanya kazi pamoja na serikali kuu kuhakikisha kwamba tumeleta maendeleo kwa wananchi wetu. Siasa imeisha. Mheshimiwa William Samuel Ruto ndio rais wetu sasa kwa miaka ingine 5, Mungu akimjalia tutafanya kazi pamoja na yeye. Na nataka niseme, mnajua mimi si muoga. Mimi ni mkakamavu kwa kazi ya serikali ambayo nimepewa. Na nitahakikisha mji wetu umefikia kiwango cha kuwa a city. Nikubalie tafadhali ndugu zangu wale ambao ni wanabodaboda, wafanya biashara, tuhakikishe kwamba tumetengeneza mji wetu. Tumefungua barabara zote. Tumepata viwanja mahali watu wanapumzika. Mimi nataka niwaulize, mniachie nipambane na wale wezi ambao kazi yao ni kuhakikisha pesa zimeingia kwa county, wamepitisha katika county za county na wameiba. Kazi yangu ni kupambana na wao. Niko na nguvu ambazo hazitumiki. Na naomba kwamba mnikubalie the energy which is not used, the idle energy, I'll put it in place. Na mnisamee tafadhali, mahali nitakwenda kinyume na matarajio yenu. Lakini kwa sasa mimi ni mzaliwa wa hapa, nitahakikisha madawa ambayo nilikuwa nimepromise yamefika hospitalini. Nitahakikisha, na ninataka niwaambie ndugu zangu na dada zangu, kwa wakati huu tuendelee kumwomba Mungu. Mzee Omanga ni mzee Omanga, mzee wa miaka 92, lakini ni mchapa kazi. Ako na miaka 92, lakini shamba lake anachuna na anapata karibu 1200 kila mwezi. Huyo mzee. Wewe je, ambao uko na miaka 20, 30, unafanya nini katika kuinua uchumi wetu katika kaunti yetu? Nataka nimalizie hapo kuwauliza nyote tafadhali, tushirikiane pamoja. Nataka nishukuru Bwana County Commissioner. Najua kwamba kutakuwa na vitina. Kuna watu wanataka kusema sisi, unajua I'm happy my brother Zaire Janda. Huyu ni mwana Kenya kwanza. Amekuwa katika mstari wa mbele kuhakikisha kwamba tuko pamoja. Bwana County Commissioner, any element of criminality, let us forge together to make sure we have rooted it. Watu ambao walipiga kura, ambao walitupigia mimi nikiwa wa kwanza, Mheshimiwa Machowa akiwa wa pili, nilipata kura 1270. Mheshimiwa Machowa akapata 1080. Mheshimiwa Manson 1030. Mheshimiwa Obure 9000. Mheshimiwa Profesa karibu 3000. Nataka niseme kwamba hizo kura zinahitaji zifanywe kazi. Wewe mmoja wawili hamwezi simama barabarani wakati gari limejaa na watu 1300 na kitu ambao walipiga kura. Tutatembea juu yako, ndugu yangu, dada yangu. Lazima nataka nimalizie.
Ilikuwa na wafanyikazi kutoka county government ambao waliteuliwa na county secretary, walikuwa wakiongozwa na chief officer Bwana Nyakweba, na mimi deputy county commissioner wa KISII Central pamoja na mwenzangu wa Kitutu Central. Tulikuwa tukiwakilisha national government na tukashirikiana mpaka mahali ambapo tumefikia. Pili, ningetaka kushukuru ofisi ya governor pia kwa kutusaidia na rasilimali ambazo zimetuwezesha kufikia mipango katika kiwango hiki. Asanteni sana, mnaweza mkaketi. Kwa sasa ningetaka tumkaribishe county commissioner kwa makofi ili aje aweze kusoma hotuba ya rais.
Thank you, MC, the Honorable Governor, KISII County, Honorable Paul Simba Arati, Mrs. Simba Arati, the Honorable Deputy Governor, Dr. Monda and Mrs. Monda, Honorable Senator Richard Onyonka, the Senator KISII County, the MP Nyaribari Chache, Honorable Zahil Jada, the Speaker of KISII KISII County Assembly, Honorable Nyanumba, the religious leaders present, officers from the national government and officers from the national government and all elected members of the National Assembly na wananchi watukufu. Hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Ningependa nichukue nafasi hii niweze kusoma hotuba ya rais wakati wa kuadhimisha sikukuu ya Mashujaa Day hivi leo. alafu kisha baadaye labda nitaweza kusema mawili matatu kuhusiana na kaunti yetu. It is now my honor and pleasure to read the presidential speech. National address by His Excellency Honorable William Samoei Ruto, PhD, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces on the occasion of Mashujaa Day celebrations held on Thursday, the 20th October 2022 at Uhuru Gardens, Nairobi. Mobilizing transformational patriotism and value-driven heroism for the well-being of the citizens of Kenya. I am tremendously privileged to join Kenyans and our visitors today as we commemorate the 59th anniversary of Mashujaa Day. It is with great humility that I preside over this year's celebrations for the first time as president, and I am humbled and grateful for the honor. We solemnly observe this important day today every year in order for us to reflect upon where we have come from as a nation. We mark this date to consider the troubled road we trod through, the sorrowful wilderness of cruel colonial injustice, and the price that we paid in blood, toil, anguish, and death for us to be free people. We take this opportunity to also celebrate histories of the heroes and heroines who sacrificed valiantly in our freedom struggle. Their character and most importantly, the values and principles which inspired, sustained, and vindicated them, so that we may emulate them by leading lives worthy of the sacrifices. We ask ourselves today, what must we do to transmit this noble history and ensure that future generations appreciate us, not only as worthy heirs of our illustrious ancestors, but also as skillful stewards of their heritage. We do this in pursuit of a solemn covenant proclaimed in the preamble of our Constitution that we, the people of Kenya, shall honor those who heroically struggled to bring freedom and justice to our land by adopting, enacting, and giving the Constitution to ourselves and to our future generations. Our Constitution articulates a vision of Kenya our heroes and heroines would have approved. A Kenya worth fighting for and worth paying the ultimate price for. It is their legacy to us, and it's the stage for us to continue their patriotic work in that noble spirit that roused the first freedom fighters to resist the colonial and the ancestors to reject post-colonial repression. Our heroes and heroines were neither elected nor appointed. They were not sponsored and they were not funded. They had no officers or budgets. They were ordinary people invested in the struggle to make good their unwavering belief that all people are equal and deserve to live in freedom. People of all walks of life, subsistence farmers and traders, clerks and former soldiers, teachers and their learners, preachers and their congregants, drivers, the people were distinguished by their unity and commitment to selfless endeavor, determination, patriotism, and any unyielding sense of justice. Every time we have come together we have accomplished major defeats. That is why as a nation, we are exalted by the national anthem. Let one and all arise with the hearts both strong and true. Our Constitution, the People's Sovereign Charter, is an instrument of collective memory. It proscribes tyranny, marginalization, and oppression, provides institutional means to dismantle injustice and eradicate inequality, and gives us an opportunity to expand freedom and actualize rights. It also defines human well-being to be the reason for individual and collective action, as well as object of totality of the nation, of the national enterprise. We are united in common endeavor with those who came before us and did so much for our country. We may define ourselves as a nation proudly standing on the foundation of the Constitution, united in pursuit of the well-being of every citizen. The principal reason for promulgating our Constitution then was to inscribe the values which animated our history of accomplishment and to project them in a manner that resonates across generations. The national values and the principles of governance set out in Article 10 form the soul of its depression. They define the parameters of patriotism, exemplary service, selfless sacrifice, and profile us in terms of who we are and who we ought to be, individually and as a nation. We can and we must employ these values as beacons of identifying people whose contributions honor the memory of our heroes and heroines and bring glory to our nation. It is time to direct our focus on the work that each one of us does to understand how we contribute to our individual well-being, as well as that of our communities and nation. In this understanding, we must take into account the individuals make up communities and the greater national family, and that Kenya's stature and splendor is always greater than the sum total of all individual efforts or community endeavor. Similarly, our national capacity determines the extent of opportunities all Kenyans have to pursue and attain their aspirations. What I am saying is that regardless of the type and scale of our pursuits, every contribution matters. And regardless of our walk of life, our work matters. Our intentions matter and our thoughts matter because we matter. I congratulate every citizen for their part in ensuring that the last elections was beautiful. I know of attempts of division, disunity, confusion, and even some who did everything in their power to entice and pressure our people to engage in criminal activities. But I also know that despite a competitive campaign period characterized by intense rivalry, Kenyans resolved to remain peaceful, united, and compassionate. We set a new standard for ourselves. Issue-based campaigns transparent elections, and a peaceful outcome. I salute all Kenyans who set out every day, everywhere, doing ordinary things in inspired and extraordinary ways to fend for themselves and their families, thereby keeping the country ongoing. I commend those whose work involves service to others. I celebrate those who volunteer and give expecting nothing in return, yet serve selflessly. From the farmers who feed our nation to the drivers who connect all parts of our country by conveying people and goods, educators who impart knowledge to our infants in kindergartens, children in school and youth in tertiary institutions, medical staff in wards, in the field and training institutions, workers in quarries and construction sites, artisans in their small sheds and in large workshops, traders on the side streets, in rural and urban markets, all the way to Nairobi Securities Exchange, professionals who give their best in every sector of national endeavor, and our men and women in uniform whose bravery and commitment continue to set the gold standard for sterling devotion to our flag. This nation salutes your service and celebrates your contribution. These are real acts of heroism. Because of the contribution to Kenyans everywhere, our country continues to make great strides towards socio-economic transformation, shared prosperity, and enhanced well-being for our people. In the East and Horn of Africa regions, the larger African continent, and globally, this nation expresses our values with greater clarity, and state projects our aspirations more emphatically. It is now time to lay the foundation for our future agriculture and the lead sector of the economic transformation of our country. Is the place to start, owing to its potential for high and quick returns on investment. But the situation in the country is wanting, and we have a severe food shortage as a result of a prolonged drought in Kenya and the larger Horn of Africa region, the worst in nearly half a century, with 3 years of failed rain. Coupled with this are the extremely high global fertilizer prices. Our government initial intervention to mitigate the challenges have been to step up food supply in northern Kenya and other regions and ensure better coordination between government and development partners. We thank our partners for their input that has gone a long way in relieving the dire situation. World fertilizer prices have more than doubled in the past 2 years since COVID-19. The prices were passed on to the farmers. The cost skyrocketed to more than Kenya shillings 7,000 for a 50 kg bag. This had a huge impact on the productivity of farmers last year. For example, maize production suffered a deficit of more than 10 million bags. Our government's first intervention to address the fertilizers challenge and make it available to the counties and regions that plant in the short rain season was to import 1.5 million 50 kg bags and distribute them to a lower cost of 3,500. We have also made arrangements to make another 6 million bags of various types of fertilizer available to the long rain season. We have also asked county governments to work with us on last mile delivery all the way towards the centers close to the farmers. These, however, are short-term measures, and we have to take every bold step to end the perpetual cycle of hunger and dependency on rain-fed agriculture. We must eradicate hunger in our country in the shortest time possible. To do this, we have the following plans. A, we have to increase agriculture productivity. We will support all farmers to access quality inputs such as seeds, fertilizer, and pesticides, among others. We will also ensure that our farmers have access to extension services in order to improve farming skills. In the short term, we will continue with the fertilizer import program, but in the medium term, the government plan to have fertilizer manufactured locally. Number 2, on seeds, our government will work with local research institutions and both the public and private sector to scale up seed multiplication for all crops. 3, however, irrigation is the ultimate solution in guaranteeing food security. In 2017, the government set out to build 57 dams to harness water for irrigation and domestic use. Many did not even start, while the few that did are incomplete. The huge capital outlay required for dam construction in the context of competing budgetary priorities poses a huge challenge to this program. 4, to address this challenge, we have resolved to seek investments through public-private partnership and thus be able to build as many dams as possible. The government will then enter into water purchase agreement with the developers. Consequently, it would be possible to irrigate 3 million acres of already identified irrigable land. In the next 3 years, the government plans to double the land under irrigation to 1.4 million acres. Of these, 200,000 acres will be under rice irrigation and 500 acres under other food crops. Rice production in Bunyara, the Tana Delta, Rohole in Garissa, Mwea and Ahero will take priority. 6, our dairy farmers struggle with the high cost of feed and challenges of storage, preservation of milk, and accessing the market. To assure them that they are on our priority list, we have taken immediate steps to reinstate the milk coolers program, and distribution of 650 coolers will resume shortly. In our plan, we have identified dairy and livestock economy as subsectors which with the quick economic time, and they will become key drivers in improving food security, creating jobs, and boosting export. Housing. In our plan, we have committed to
Mwanjo Murigeria Oyo Nomo County Commissioner ogendete korwa speech ya gosoma speech ya wose engana gosenkwana yo muraibwenze omosike William Samoei Ruto ebuno ngolengi toko chikoba toko kodera